You will never be rich as long as you can be found. As long as people know where you are, what you want, and what you plan, you are not free. You are reachable, and what can be reached can be slowed, steered, or broken. You were trained to expose yourself, to explain what you are doing, to show your progress, to announce your next move. You think it proves you are serious. It only proves you are available. Carl Jung would say you are feeding the mask, not the person. You live for the gaze, for the reaction, for the small hit of recognition. The more you feed that, the less you belong to yourself. That is the first danger. You do not just attract envy. You reshape your identity around being seen. You become a character in other people's story, not the author of your own. Later, we will go into something harsher. Why coldness, distance, and solitude are not a phase, but tools. Why shutting doors, ignoring messages, and disappearing from noise is the only way to build a life that cannot be moved on command. But first, you need to see how visible you really are. You think you're inspiring people when you talk about your plans? You're not. You're forcing them to compare. On their face, they smile. They nod. They say they're proud of you, but behind the eyes, something else moves. A quiet, sour tension. A question they will never ask out loud. What happens if he gets ahead of me? Most people don't hate your ambition in theory. They hate the feeling it gives them in their own skin. It reminds them of everything they postponed, everything they never started, everything they quietly buried under the routine of their days. They won't show you that. They'll say, "Go for it. I believe in you. You deserve it." And some small part of them might even mean it, but another part, the deeper one, hopes life will put you back in place. La Rochefoucauld saw it clearly. Our envy survives longer than the happiness of those we envy. Your temporary success is bearable. Your steady rise is not. You think they're listening when you speak about your goals? They're measuring, weighing whether your trajectory threatens theirs, deciding if your future makes their comfort look cheap. That's why you can't afford to expose everything. Every detail you reveal is one more angle they can use, one more reference point, one more way to track your movement. Look at Caesar. His problem wasn't that he failed. His problem was that he succeeded too visibly. Each victory, each honor, each title added another weight of humiliation on the men who stayed behind him. His rise became a mirror they hated looking into. He didn't just gain power. He forced others to see how little they had. In the end, they didn't attack a man. They attacked a reminder. You repeat the same mistake on a smaller scale when you talk too much. When you lay out your income goals, your timelines, who you work with, what you plan to launch next. You think you're being open. You think you're building trust. You're not. You're mapping your own position. You're drawing a neat, clear picture of where you are and where you think you're going. And anyone who feels cornered by that picture now has coordinates. They know who to talk to, what to question, where to throw doubt, when to send the one message that will hit you right when your energy is lowest. They don't need to be smarter than you. They just need information, the very information you gave away for free. So when you notice resistance, strange delays, subtle sabotage, don't be surprised. You trained the world to read you. You handed them your plans like a schedule, and they're just following along. You think information is harmless, neutral, just words and details drifting around you. It isn't. Every detail you reveal about yourself is a coordinate, a point on a map that someone else can one day use against you. When you talk about your routines, your triggers, your goals, your fears, you are not just sharing. You are drawing a blueprint of your weak spots. You call it honesty. You call it openness. But what you are really doing is handing people the exact levers that move you. Information is power only for the one who keeps it. For the one who spills it, it becomes a weapon turned back on them. You were trained to treat your life as a live feed, to comment on everything you feel, to expose every frustration, to announce every intention. You think this makes you real. It only makes you readable. And the more readable you are, the easier it is to interfere with you. A person who knows your schedule doesn't need to be smarter than you. They just need to disturb you at the right hour. A person who knows your doubts doesn't need great insight. They just need to repeat those doubts when your energy is lowest. A person who knows your ambitions doesn't need a grand strategy. They just need to throw small obstacles in front of the things that matter most to you. That is how manipulation works now, not with dramatic betrayals, with small, well-placed pressures, on the points you yourself exposed. Overexposure is self-sabotage dressed as transparency. You confess your weaknesses in public and then wonder why those weaknesses never leave you. You explain your plans in detail and then wonder why resistance always appears in the very places you described. You talk about your limits, your fears, your failures, and then act surprised when people treat you according to those stories. You gave them the script. You gave them the role they now play in your life. You imagine you are just being yourself. But look closely. Every time you expose a soft spot, you feel a brief relief, a momentary lightness. Someone heard you, someone reacted, someone saw your pain. That feeling is the hook. You trade long-term power for short-term comfort. You buy a moment of understanding with a piece of your leverage, and once you've sold enough of it, you wake up with nothing left to protect you. The truth is simple. A man who cannot control what he reveals cannot control what is done to him. If they know where you live emotionally, they know where to go when they want to slow you down. If they know what keeps you up at night, they know where to push when they want you distracted. If they know exactly what you want, they know which bait you will always chase. You think you are losing because of a lack of talent or a lack of money. Most of the time, you are losing because you cannot keep your own life out of other people's hands. You are not being outplayed. You are being overexposed, and you are the one holding the light. You live in an age of noise, but noise is not your real enemy. Exposure is. Machiavelli understood this long before social networks existed. Power does not belong to the man everyone can read. It belongs to the one who is there, but never fully seen. He wrote of princes who survived not because they were honest about their intentions, but because no one could predict their next step. They let others talk. They watched, they gathered information and revealed nothing. That is the principle I want you to hold in your bones, not as a clever trick, but as a way of moving through the world. You show too much of yourself. You talk about your goals. You reveal your frustrations. You explain your dreams to people who have no stake in them. You think they understand you. You think they care. What they really gain is data. The more they know, the easier you are to push. So you need to become unreadable. Unreadable does not mean fake. It does not mean lying. It means keeping your inner map to yourself. You act, but you do not explain. You move, but you do not announce. You change direction, but you leave no trail of justifications behind you. You let people see the surface, never the mechanism. Machiavelli would tell you, a prince who reveals his intentions gives his enemies the chance to strike first. The same is true for you. Once people can guess where you are going, they have time to prepare obstacles. Time to talk, to question, to slow you. You cannot control what others feel about your rise, but you can control how much access they have to it. So you remove the extra signals. You stop turning your life into a report. You stop feeding people your next moves as if they have earned the right to know. You become quiet, but not passive. Silent, but not frozen. You work. You correct. You shift. You take small private risks. You fall, but no one sees the fall. You rise, but no one sees the process. All they ever meet is the version of you that is already one step further than they expected. In a world that rewards performance, you choose something colder. You choose strategy. You are not here to impress them with your plans. You are here to deny them the leverage that comes from knowing them. Let them guess who you are. Let them misread your silence. Let them project their own stories onto you while you keep your own story locked away. The less they can read you, the less they can move you. And the less they can move you, the closer you come to a life they will never understand. Only feel when it is already too late. You think a ghost is someone who has vanished from life? Someone who has given up on people and locked himself in a room, but that is not what I'm asking you to become. A social ghost is something else. It is a man who understands that access is a currency and that he has been giving it away for free. You answer everything. You explain everything. You justify everything. Anyone can reach you. Anyone can pull you into their noise. You mistake this for kindness, for openness, for being a good person. But look closely. It is simply that you have never guarded your own energy. A ghost moves differently. He does not announce his withdrawal. He does not make a speech about boundaries. He just stops showing up where his time is being wasted. He exits the endless group chats. He stops replying to conversations that go nowhere. He lets messages sit. He lets calls ring, not out of arrogance, out of precision. If a conversation does not move him forward, he leaves it behind. If a person only comes with drama, he fades from their reach. If a topic exists only to stir emotions, he refuses to feed it with his attention. He does not argue. He does not try to convert anyone. He does not try to prove that he is right, because arguing is still exposure. It still gives the other side a map of what gets to him. Silence gives them nothing. You are trained to think you must answer, to think every notification is urgent, to feel guilty when you're not always available. But constant availability is not generosity. It is self-abandonment. A social ghost reverses this. He begins to answer selectively. He lets urgency die in other people's phones. He gives his full presence only where his future is being built. He does not post every move. He does not report every effort. He does not announce every new idea. He allows his work to mature in private. By the time others see anything, it is already solid, already tested, already too late to interfere. On the outside, it looks like he has become distant, less talkative, harder to read. On the inside, something else is happening. His focus is thickening. His thoughts are no longer scattered across 100 small conversations. His mind stops bleeding out through every reply and every explanation. He feels heavier, more grounded. His digital trace shrinks. Fewer posts, fewer emotional outbursts, fewer chances for people to grab onto his inner life and use it against him. People start to notice. They feel that he is moving. They feel that he is changing, but they cannot say how. They cannot say where. They cannot say with whom. That uncertainty is power. When people cannot read you, they become careful. When they cannot predict you, they become quiet. They do not know whether to attack, to mock, or to imitate. So they watch. You do not owe the world a live feed of your growth. You do not owe anyone a report of what you are building. Your life is not a public project. Becoming a social ghost means this. Your presence is rare. Your words are measured. Your access is earned. You have not disappeared from life. You have disappeared from the places where life was being drained out of you. And in that quiet, away from noise, away from eyes, you finally have enough of yourself left to build something no one can touch. You want to know why you never break through? It's not because you lack intelligence. It's not because you lack potential. To become unfindable, you will have to accept a price. You will have to walk away from the version of yourself that was always available, always answering, always explaining. That version of you felt liked. It also stayed poor, scattered, and exhausted. You will need to shut doors you used to leave wide open. Messages, invitations, random let's catch up calls from people who bring nothing but noise. Every yes you gave them was a no. You gave to your own future. You didn't see it. You thought you were being kind. You are feeding a machine that drains you. Wealth is not built under bright lights. It's forged in invisible labor. The nights where no one sees you, the work no one claps for, the skills you sharpen when no one is watching, the doubts you walk through alone, without posting them, without asking for reassurance. That is the furnace where your future net worth and your future power are actually created. You will have to become colder, not cruel. Colder, less reactive, less sentimental, less willing to bleed energy for every request, every drama, every sad story that wants to hook you. You do not exist to be endlessly accessible. You exist to build. There will be people who hate that change. They were addicted to the old you, the one who answered fast, the one who always had time, the one who would drop everything to listen, to explain, to justify. When you stop doing that, they will call you arrogant, distant, ungrateful. Let them. Their comfort was paid with your delay. You must accept that real focus will look like betrayal to the ones who only loved you when you were easy to reach. The old version of you has to die. The soft one. The one that apologized for having priorities. The one that felt guilty for saying no. that death will not be loud. It will look like unanswered messages, like fewer appearances, like you disappearing from conversations that go nowhere. From the inside, it will feel like your first real breath. People will say you changed. They will be right. You will no longer be an open hallway anyone can walk through. You will become a locked door with a very small keyhole. That is what protecting your fire looks like. You cannot keep your old social softness and expect to carry real power. Something has to be sacrificed. It will not be the mission. Most will never accept this. They want to stay loved, reachable, invisible, and somehow also become untouchable. It doesn't work like that. If everyone can find you, everyone can slow you. If everyone can reach you, everyone can drain you. You are not here to belong to everyone. You are here to build something that would not exist without you. That demands distance. That demands silence. That demands the courage to let the old you die, so the one who can carry real weight can finally stand up in his place. If you feel this in your gut, if you're tired of being readable and reachable, don't just nod and move on. Stay close. Subscribe. This is where you choose whether you keep performing for others or begin building for yourself. Visibility gives you something small and immediate. A like, a comment, the quick warmth of being noticed. Invisibility offers something slower and heavier. Power, autonomy, wealth that sits deeper than numbers and does not disappear when people turn against you. You cannot crave the spotlight and then resent the fact that everyone knows where to aim. The same light that flatters you also outlines your weaknesses. It shows your pace, your doubts, your failures. Access is a gate, and you are the one who has been holding it open. If you choose wealth over popularity, your life will need to change shape. Fewer announcements, more finished moves, fewer explanations, more outcomes that cannot be reversed. You stop narrating what you plan to do and let people see only what has already taken form. Your job is to become a living question mark. People should no longer know where you really stand. They should not be sure how far you have gone or what you are about to do next. They should only feel that something in you has shifted beyond their understanding and beyond their control. When your results finally appear, they should not look like a launch. They should feel like an ambush. By the time anyone notices, the work is already done. The position is already taken. The door is already closed. You know the trade. Visibility gives satisfaction. Invisibility gives power. One feeds your ego and leaves you exposed. The other starves your ego and frees your life. You cannot have both. So choose.